Hey guys, I am back here to do another Shadows over Innistrad Swift draft. Not Swift. That's a downside of Swift drafts, is that with people not getting eliminated and the longer build times, generally takes a little longer to get one of these done than an 8-4. But until I feel like I'm actually half decent at playing and drafting Magic again, probably gonna stick to the Swisses for a while. But we are the only ones in here right now, so it'll be a little while until this gets going, but when it does, I hope you'll enjoy some sweet Magic Shadows over Innistrad action. Okay, and here we are on pack 1. I apologize if me moving my headset there made some disgusting noise. Actually, give me 1 second here. Okay, here we are in pack 1. There's some interesting cards here. I think the immediate standout is Breakneck Rider, so that's what I'm going to hover over for now. This is just a really efficient 3-drop. Like, red is typically not supposed to get 3/3 for 3s in general, and it's got a pretty awesome werewolf side. Is also this werewolf tribal card. This is very good if you have a whole bunch of werewolves, and pretty fucking useless if you don't. There's this edict, which is fine. This is a pretty solid 2-drop, so is this guy. I think those would be other options, but I think by far the best card here is the Breakneck Rider, so that's what we're going to go with. I really wish the preview pane did not morph so obnoxiously. New change. Alright, this pack, there's really nothing too interesting in red here. The best red card is Pyrohound, which is not something you want to go about second picking, although the blue-red spells deck does seem really cool. The Vesselfind, the Solitary Hunter, is probably the best creature here. There's also this bounce spell. I think the best card, though, is Deadweight. Deadweight's a really solid piece of removal at common. It's never been bad. I think that's what I'm going to take. I'm definitely not going to take another red card here to try and just stick to the color of my first pick. And you could argue for the Solitary Hunter, I think. Especially, you know, if we were looking to go red-green werewolves and wheel that enchantment we saw in the first pack, but given what we do see here, I think I would not want to pass up on this Deadweight so early. So that's what we're going to go with. And I'll move these around. Okay, here the good black. Ooh, this is actually a close pick, I think. Because Nearheath Chaplain is also quite good. I think in the last draft I recorded, I first picked a Guess's Bidding over this guy, and I think that was probably incorrect, actually, in retrospect. There's also another good 2-drop here. Good 1-drop. Well, fine 2-drop. These are both fine. A little better in different decks. This guy's actually pretty good, I think. This is Fixing. This is Unplayable. This is also very good. Forgot about that. All the uncommons here are very good, but once again, this is like, I would rather have Rabid Bite than this, probably 9 times out of 10. If we had taken the Solitary Hunter last pack, we'd definitely pick this and just kind of go all in on werewolves. But since we have the Deadweight, I think I'm going to go with the Kindly Stranger over the other stuff. Red-black is not the best Delirium combination, but it should still be doable. Especially if we wheel, I don't know, like shitty looting cards, or not wheel, but pick up shitty looting cards, or just, you know, we have a Deadweight, so that's an enchantment in the yard, probably. So yeah, I think the Kindly Stranger is who I like here. This is just really solid removal, and it's very useful, in my opinion. And here, we're still not seeing much in the way of red, which is a little disappointing. We might not end up being able to play our Breakneck Rider. Gloom Widow's pretty solid. But this is not the most high-powered pack, so I think I'm just going to take the expensive removal spell here. This is a lot less nice than the cheap removal spells, but it's still certainly playable. Has combat trick applications against the really huge creatures, and I don't think I'm passing up much by taking the throttle here. And yeah, I think black is definitely the right color to be in, because this seems like a pretty late Guess's Bidding to me, considering, like I managed earlier, I'd first picked this card. This is Unplayable and Limited. It's kind of cute that it copies clues as well, but it's still mostly unplayable. This guy's fine. We got the double builder. You can build a damn big house, but no, some more Warp Landscape for Fixing and Delirium. This thing's fine. I think you can play one copy in your deck. I don't know. I'm generally more a fan of, you know what this does when you, like, cheap tricks rather than ones that are a little more expensive, because this can win you the game. I think it's really good on that, like, 4/1 Vampire. Just, like, kill someone out of nowhere, but it can win the game, but I still prefer cheap tricks that have a little more application most of the time. But yeah, anyways, here, I'm definitely going for the Guess's Bidding. And, this pack is not looking amazing. Once again, this is, best red card. We already have a couple 3-drops that just are way more impressive than this vampire. I think I'm going to go with the expensive goofy-ass dragon. 7 drops are not amazing, and we don't have to play it necessarily, obviously. But I think the power level here is a little better. I think we could consider explosive apparatus, actually, because we do want delirium for our kindly stranger, but I feel like I'm more likely to pick that up later. And this is really good win condition, considering we have a deck filled with a bunch of removal right now. So I'll go with the goofy-ass dragon for now. Move this over a little. Shrink it a little, I guess. Well, if we're gonna end up blue-black, this guy's probably fine. We do have this, but this is just like, I mean, this is a huge blowout if it ever actually works. But, I mean, if you're even getting one creature with this, it's very overcosted and situational. And we got another 3-drop red werewolf. This card is a lot worse than this card, it turns out. But, yeah, like I said, the red hasn't been coming all that well. So I think we'll just take this guy who's, I mean, he's rarely going to come out of the graveyard. That's kind of a niche or, like, constructed, probably even just, like, casual constructed ability, realistically. But I think he's all right. He's a 3/3 for 3 if we end up blue-black. That's certainly something we want in our deck. And here, this is good for delirium, I suppose, but I'm not really crazy. This is actually very good for delirium. I'm kind of tempted to take this here. But, yeah, this is very, I think this is by far the best vessel. It's even better than the white one that makes creatures. This is like mediocre, you'll play it if you have to. This is mediocre, you'll play it if you have to. The red one is just like, do not play that shit. I think it's between Voldaren Duelist and Gone Mist, and I think Voldaren Duelist is just a little bit of a better card. So I'll pick that up, even though we've been moving away from red a little. Here, pretty happy to pick up our first 2-drop. Black is the color we know we'll be playing for sure, and I think it's just the best card out of all those anyways. And here, we'll take a Macabre Waltz, I guess. Don't really want to be playing much of this other stuff. Kessig Dire Swan is probably the best card in this pack. If someone's in the green Delirium deck, they're very happy wheeling this and that vessel that just went around. But I think we're going to stick to our guns here. 1 Macabre Waltz is wanted in basically every deck. Warped Landscape is definitely something I'll pick up. It's good if we want to splash something, which it's not looking like we need to splash right now. But it's also good for turning on the Delirium for our kindly stranger. These are all pretty shit. Survive the Night probably is the highest possible outside, but in a pinch we could play this, so I'll take that. And this I really hope I'm not playing. So it looks like we're blue-black or this is potentially playable if you are like the red-black full madness deck, but even if we end up red-black, we actually don't have very much madness, and we have no madness enablers at the moment. Like the full vampire aggro madness deck can maybe play that, but I think we're leaning towards blue-black, but it's still possible we could go red. Like if we just open an insane red card here. Well, the best card we open is green. Maybe we should just be in green-black. We saw a whole bunch of good green stuff. This is just a pretty lackluster pack for all the colors you're thinking about being in. This is good in the white Delirium deck. The Duskwatch Recruiter is really good. I mean, Duskwatch Recruiter is by far the best card in here, I think. Topgeist is Ghoulsteed's pretty fine, I guess. You know, Ghoulsteed's a pretty solid late game card, and the discard 2 cards that starts to let us madness a little. It's a really tricky pick because it essentially none of the commons are really powerful enough for us to be interested in. This is actually pretty solid if we want to stay red, but it's a lot better than the red-green deck. This is a very tricky pick because essentially what it comes down to is, do you want to take the card you know you'll almost certainly play? At least one of, or do you want to take the card that you might not play but I think has the best power level here? And we passed so much good green in the last pack. I don't see us getting much good green. I think I just have to go with the Ghoulsteed here. Okay, this pack. Well, there's maybe we should just be trying for green-black Delirium. Reckless Scholar though I think is the best card. I think it's a little better than the Bloodsworn, and I think I'm going to move all the, oh, fuck you. Preview window with werewolves, fuck you. Alright, and I think I'm going to take that here, and we'll just try and go for blue-black. There's also this. We'll be happy to wheel any of these 3, really. These are all pretty useful. And I think the green-black Delirium was an open option on the table if we went Vessel, Swine, Duskwatch, and then this. But considering what we have, I think it's best to continue down. This is also a fine wheel as well. Well, it synergizes a little less with this, but you know, it's also still very good. Yeah, I think we're just going to go for the Scholar here. Trying to decide if I think the Pale Rider or the Uninvited Geist is better. This is also, you know, if we had a white card we wanted to splash with this in the landscape, that'd be very easy. So maybe we wheel it and can think about that. But another scrutiny. I think I'm going to go with the Geist over the Pale Rider. The Pale Rider is sometimes a lot more powerful, but we don't have that much madness right now, and the Geist is an uncommon flip card I think is a little harder to pick up than this guy. If we get this in, it's quite good. And we do have a couple removal spells to potentially get it in. I think I want to try this guy out. We're going to go for the Geist here and just continue picking 3-drops. Okay, well, Fleeting Memories is interesting. That's kind of how you do the mill deck. It's kind of the only way you can do the mill deck. This pack, though, is pretty low power. I think like Puncturing Light or Skin Invasion are the best cards. This guy's good if you're in the red-black deck. Not very exciting elsewhere. Ghostly Wings is okay, I guess. I could play that if I really wanted to. Does a little for madness, and when it ends up in the yard, it does do Delirium. We already have an enchantment. I think I'd rather just pick another 3-drop. By far the worst one we've picked up so far, but this is good for turning on the Delirium for our Kindly Stranger. If we don't see any artifacts. I think it's just kind of the safest pick to go. Rather than trying to splash the Puncturing Light, Shambleback's not very good. Ghostly Wings is pretty mediocre. Yeah, I think I'm alright. Okay, well, that card's quite good. Fuck. We're getting past green from the other side, which is very strange. But I actually have like enough of both these colors. I think I just really want to be in these 2 colors at this point. The best card here is just another 3-drop. I don't really need the Hound. I think the Ghoul Steed does that awkward black 5-drop job a little better. Yeah, I think we're... Yeah, well, there's about 4 cards. Alright, well, if I could do this draft over again, I'd probably go green-black, but for now, we'll keep going with what we've got. This guy's a little worse splashing the front side than the back side. I think we just want the twins here. It is another 5-drop, but it synergizes like with the Scholar and stuff. It's like pretty decent if you can madness it out, and if we don't feel like we can madness it out, we can always side it out. This pack, once again, it's not too many. This guy's probably the best card in here. This is also fine, but I think I'd rather have a creature. We already have some sorceries and stuff. Well, here I'm pretty happy to take Just the Wind. Drowned Explorers are actually also very good, but we don't have any instants as of yet. I don't believe. No, the Throttle is actually. Okay, well, it's tough because these guys are really solid. We don't have much in the 4-drop slot, but I think I do prefer Just the Wind here. Synergizes really well with our Reckless Scholar. We are a little controlly. Like, I think these guys would be really solid in our deck, but I'm always a big fan of bounce spells, so we're gonna go for that. And here we'll just take another 2-drop instant. I think this thing is like surprisingly decent. Investigate's nice. We don't really have enough vampires, so that's got to be a pick we really have to focus on. These guys are just kind of the mirror of each other. They're both pretty mediocre. The little tribal upside, this guy more so than this guy. But yeah, I think we take the Scrutiny here and don't have to complain too much about that. We'll take a Stallion here. We might actually play this. Like I said, we're pretty light on 4s. Definitely happy to see another Ghoul Callers and Predators. I think this card's just really solid as a 2-drop beater ghoul. And yeah. Oh, and another one. Well, I think we take the Pale Rider over the other one. I think this card's pretty decent, actually. You probably don't want more than one in your deck, but like just pitching a land or drawing it late game and being able to like potentially madness with it, or just the fact that if you rip it off the top of your deck, you can just play it as a 3/3, even though it's not amazing in the late game. I think it's good enough. We want that over a 3rd Ghoul Caller's Apprentice. Here, this is how bad fucking Shambleback is. I'm gonna take that Fleeting Memories. Sure, we can throw the Hound in. Like I said, I mean, if we end up more Delirium, the Madness, it might be better than the Twins, so there is that. And a nice little Mountain to cap things off. Okay, well, this is coming along all right. Like I said, I think the Black Green, if we could turn back time, might have been a higher powered option, but we're getting a lot of decent stuff here, and it looks like we're gonna be able to easily side out our more mediocre cards like this once we put everything together. So I won't complain too much. Okay. I don't think the Shadowlands are worth anything online. I'll probably pause and double check once I've highlighted something just in case, but I'm pretty sure they're not. Lands typically don't command the same prices online as they do in real life. This pack is pretty weak. It's like an okay green one. Yeah, I think the best card is just the second throttle here, which isn't even amazing. Like, you don't want that many throttles or that many reduced dashes. It's kind of that. It's equivalent in red. The 5-drop removal spells, but I'm not going to turn down removal, and the alternative is like another Warped Landscape when we don't want to splash yet, or another Twins who aren't amazing when we only really have the 1.5, count this guy as a half, discard outlet. So yeah, I think I'll take the throttle here, and you know what, I ran out of time to check if it's worth money. I'm 99% sure it's not, so. Here, I don't know if Sinister Concoction is better than Deadweight, actually. To be perfectly, what's with these Vessel stack packs? And there's a reduced dash limit. This might not, oh, and this is actually very tough. Because 2 Reckless Scholars is really good, but it's not really good if you draw them both, unfortunately. Although you can always loot away your second looter, right? I think given that we want to enable Kindly Strange, and this also does serve as a discard outlet to turn on our mana stuff, I'm going to take the Sinister Concoction here. In a pack 1, pick 1 environment, this might actually be the 3rd best card of these 3 I'm looking at. Like, Deadweight and Reckless Scholar might just be better than this. But I think it's something I want here, given the way our draft has worked out. And, I mean, 2 Reckless Scholars would be great, but as would 2 Deadweights. But I think this is what I want here. Okay. We got a couple. I would really want to take these 2 kind of little awkward but interesting 5-mana blue spells. I think I'd play either one of these, even though, I mean, some of these 5-drops are coming out. In case people are wondering. But I mean, I don't think I can justify taking either over Deadweight, unfortunately. These both seem super fun. Like, I appreciate what both these do a ton in a control deck. And this does turn on some of our Madness stuff as well. Lets us untap the 2 lands first, although awkwardly, a lot of our Madness costs are 3 mana. Although I suppose you're not always casting this on turn 5, right? That said, I think I gotta be a boring person and go with the Deadweight here. It's just enough better than the other crap, and I guess we can officially move the Hound to the sideboard. I want to try and be a little better at recognizing our 23 here. Harvest Hand. We don't actually have that many humans, which I think makes that card a little worse. We have just the Reckless Scholar, I think. Oh, well, this is human on... Oh, it's human on both sides. Okay, I thought it turned into like a whore or something. Even then, I think I'd rather have the rats. I think the rats are just really good, and we can take out this Seagraph Scab. I think the rats are a little better than him. I'd rather block and trade up than be able to just like block 2/1s really well. Seems a little better. And you can always like turn off their power with Jace's Scrutiny and get them with the 1-pointed Death Touch, Live the Dream. Can't be too unhappy tears. Oh, okay, this is pretty cool. This is something that might actually have me put the Seagraph Scab back in. And is the Hound a zombie as well? Well, this might force me to reevaluate a couple of those deck building decisions I might make, but I think this thing's pretty powerful. Like, I think we want to play this. This is only a zombie. Actually, wait, this doesn't work. Zombie cards in your graveyard. And when you cast... So this is actually a non-bow with Ghoul Caller's Apprentice, which is awkward. That might be a little worse than I was thinking. I think we're still going to play it, though. We just sided out like most of our only zombies, but there's another one. Huh. We actually don't have that many zombies, but we can side 2 more back in. And we have that. What? And it doesn't work with that as well. Having a zombie lord that doesn't work with zombie tokens in Innistrad is a little awkward, given how this set tends to work. But I think I still want to try and play this. We'll see. It might just end up getting cut as well, but we didn't. We just sacrificed another hound there for it. So this pack, I think we actually have enough enchantments, so we don't have to worry about taking the vessel for delirium here. I think even if we end up straight 2 colors, I'm going to play 1 warped landscape. I think to turn on delirium, although we can always just discard lands. Maybe. Choice between another Pale Rider and a Gone Missing here. I don't think either are that amazing. Yeah, I don't think we really want 2 Pale Riders in a deck. Because you don't really want to curve them into each other, because you just, the card, like if this is a zombie, oh my god. Another one of these guys. Hey, maybe we wheel it. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, no. So unless someone takes over the land. As you say, if no one's in these colors, maybe we'll. But, yeah, I definitely take the 3rd deadweight here. Like, you can really never have too many deadweights. And seeing this guy this late basically tells me that even now, even with all we passed, maybe we should have been going down the black-green road. Oh well. Not going to be unhappy with the deadweight there. Here, Explosive Apparatus is probably, I think with our deck, actually, 1 Macabre Alt is really good with all the bounties we have, but I don't think you ever really want 2 of these in your deck. So I'm going to take the Explosive Apparatus, and if we want to shuffle things around for our badness count a little better, we can do that. Here, all these cards are like, this is the best card, I think, actually, and it's pretty mediocre. Like, it's just 2 drops and, like, alright, dudes. I guess I'll just take a 2nd Warped Landscape to keep someone else away from fixing, if they really needed to splash. Once again, all these cards are bad. I think isn't this card fine? I thought this card was pretty good. Oh well, maybe I just like don't know about the format. Like I said, I haven't played all that much. This guy might be something to think about just as a zombie, so we'll throw him in there. We'll take Humble the Brute. Ha! And we even wield the Hound. All right. Well, is this better? Sacrifice a creature or land. I think we have enough ways to get lands into our graveyard with the discard that I'm not going to, and the warp landscapes. I'm not going to worry too much about kind of mediocre draw too. Okay, this thing's actually playable sometimes. Like I said, if we thought we'd have a harder time getting enchantments into our graveyard, I'd probably play it if I had a Kindly Stranger too. So I don't know. I think the black half of our deck is really good, and the blue side contributes a little. Mostly the looter, to be honest. It's mostly the looter, but contributes a little nonetheless. So what do we want to pull here? I think the Colossus is just going to have to take a seat on the bench. This card is super powerful. The right setup, but it kind of involves us playing mediocre-ish 5 drops to turn it on. Like we have to play this thing and the Hounds, and although the Twins aren't amazing, right? Like I don't know. I just think it's really good because we can loot them out or sinister them out, etc. But I think the Colossus, like we got this guy who's not even amazing himself. I think we do want the Wicker Witch for the Stranger. What do I want my last cast? Well, I just play 16 lands with 4 5 drops and a 7 drop, obviously. Maybe a Throttle? I mean, we actually have a lot of removal, but I don't know. Siding out Throttle seems like a crazy person's move. Possibly this thing. I like flyers though in control age decks. I do not know why we've not officially moved to actual deck building yet, by the way. Okay, there we go. Right. Why does it... How the fuck does Magic Online's brain work, where when I move my 4-drop up, it goes, well, by moving your Geesel's Building to the 4-drop slot, you've automatically started the game with 1 more land at the beginning of turn 5. Turn 4. Yeah. Alright. So I don't want to come. Maybe the uninvited guys, we don't have that many ways to get it in. Well, that's not true, because we just kill, like, anything. Like, we just kill their 2/2, they leave back to block it with dead weight, like, so much. I think we actually do get it in a lot. I don't know why I said that. Probably the Stallion is the worst card. Doesn't do any tribal synergies, even though we cited all the tribal synergies out. Its delirium ability is comparatively mediocre. Yeah, pretty mediocre, to be honest. It's just for, like, the only reason it was in there was to fill curve, but I think we have so many 3-drops that we can a lot of time just cast a 3-drop on turn 4 or whatever, and, like, oh well, we weren't that efficient, but we can go, like, 3-drop deadweight, which is definitely a consideration, and this is still really solid, so yeah, and I don't think I want to play the Diagraph Colossus. If it actually interacted in a way that wasn't shit with Ghoul Caller's Apprentice and Geese's Bidding, I think it would be in our deck, and we'd throw, like, this guy in or a Hound in and bring back the Seagraph, shit like that. But because it doesn't, it doesn't. And so I think I like the way this looks. This is a consideration as well, I guess, to turn on Delirium. Would I rather just have this than the Wicker Witch? Just have more 1-drop removal. We only have 13 creatures, though, or 14 really, but because this does go a little further in terms of turning on Delirium, right? With being a creature as well, if you don't have creatures in there from another source. But this does a little more on its own. I think that's a main consideration, because I want one artifact in here. For Delirium purposes, for our Kindly Stranger. But, This is good, I guess, when you give it flying by exiling this from your graveyard or coming in. It's a 3-damage flyer. I think, by the way, I do want this guy. We have a pretty good, because this counts as non-creature for that purpose, actually. And we got a whole bunch of pretty good non-creature spells, so I think I do want the Niblis. Question is, do I just need another creature? We're pretty creature light, right? If I'd just rather have another creature, or if I would rather have another little piece of removal. We have a lot of cheap removal, so it's probably something we don't need, to be honest. It does kind of synergize with Deadweight in that you can weaken something with Deadweight and then blow it up a little easier, right? But I think I'd still rather have the expensive removals. We'll just play 2 Throttles, even though it's not great or efficient to handle the big guys, as well as this. This handles the big guys as well. And then we got all these to handle the small guys, plus a few tricks. And given that we, like, have a Scrutiny, I think we want the other creature, because this is, like, good. If they try and block and trade this, and we don't want it in our graveyard for Stranger, we can Scrutiny, and this will take out most early things with 3 power, while keeping itself safe for most early things with the Scrutiny, etc. So I think we'll leave the apparatus in the sideboard, and I think that's about all we have to consider here, right? We're not playing Fleeting Memories. Yeah, I think in the end, I maybe should have taken the Drowned Explorers over the Just the Wind. That might have been a mispick on my part. I know a lot of people speak very highly about the Drowned Explorers, so perhaps I was wrong. I see Bounce Spell and it feels right, man. Take me back to the days of silent departure. Alright, so now let's see how many ways we have to get a land into our graveyard. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of want to play the Warp Landscape, to be honest. I know it's not amazing, but it will help us fix in our 2-color deck sometimes, right? And I don't think we get punished decently hard by having a colorless land, to be honest, because we really want black early. But I think I just really want to have this Kindly Stranger on more often than not. Another thing that handles the big guys, and I don't think we get hurt too bad by playing this in our deck, so I think I'm going to play the 1 Warped Landscape, and then... Oh, the fucking noise from Moto took me by surprise. I don't think that should come in on your end, but... Okay, 10-6. How many blue symbols do we have? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe this is correct, actually. 10-6. 10-6, and we have the warped. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, now I'm definitely Just muting my game because apparently it gives you an awful Windows noise when you try and zoom in on cards in the background while suggesting lands. 10-6 might actually be correct. 10 swamp's pretty good because we really want the stuff early. Maybe that's a little light on blue, but... That's tough. I'm going to try this. I'm going to actually go with what Magic Online suggests here. As always, with everything I do, could be wrong. Well, it's not letting me move it, so we just won't. Yeah, as always, it could be wrong. It could be very wrong. But I think I'm happy enough with this. I think that's a pretty decent deck. So we're going to go ahead and submit this, and I'll see you in round 1.